Welcome to Skills to Pay Your Bills. In this special segment, the Wealth Zone University. I'm your host, Don Maraney, and as always, our mantra is we want to change your mind about money so that you can change your financial future. Over the last few segments, we've been talking to business people, young men and young women who espouse our position that entrepreneurship is vital, and entrepreneurship is a first aspect of becoming financially free, and also being in business for yourself is the ultimate freedom, in our opinion. Today we've got a really special guest because this young person not only has a thriving business, but he's been within my realm, and I call it a realm because I built it, for at least more than a decade. And this young man not only has taken our corporation, helped us brand it, but also make sure that we stay current in all aspects of the new internet, social media, and all the other fast-moving ways of becoming visible and branding a corporation. So I'm going to introduce you to my buddy, my friend, Kevin Hailstock. Welcome, Kevin.
Thank you, Don.
The name of Kevin's company is Web Immerse, and I'm going to sit back and ask Kevin to tell you a bit about himself and also about his company. And then we're going to chat extensively about some of the things that Web Immerse does. But for right now, Kev, thank you for joining me. I'm going to tell them in a little bit about how our relationship is. But would you tell them about Kevin Hailstock, who you are, what you do, and then run right into Web Immerse and the great things that your company is doing?
Yeah, sure. And thanks for that. I'm glad I'm still considered young. So can I get a recording of this?
Yeah, you will.
Yeah, so I got started what I would consider early, about a year out of school. I was 23 at the time and co-founded Web Immerse. We're a web development company. We work to develop websites that help companies like your viewers or yourself brand themselves, communicate with their target audiences. We do programming projects, work with all the latest and greatest social media, engineering campaigns, and everything in between.
Well, you know, Kev has been, again, in our stable probably since 2000, maybe even 1999.
Yeah, early 2000s.
Yeah.
Early
Our
2000s.
first main internet website was developed by Web Immerse and this wonderful young man right here. So he's been with us for more than a decade. But Kev, you said you came out of school, a year out of school, 23, and you started your business. What was the impetus for you to start a business as opposed to going in and getting a job?
Yeah, I think I got bitten by the entrepreneurial bug early. Even as a youngster, you know, I needed money. I wanted to spend money on things, but I had to get it somehow. My parents gave us, my brother and I, everything that we needed, but I don't think we would qualify as spoiled.
Okay.
So even with mowing lawns, I think my brother and I resold candy in grade school. And
resold. You bought it, resold it. I like the retail.
Yeah. So I think it's been a natural thing. And after school, I was always involved in some way with technology, even from high school and probably earlier than that. I did take a job after school. I had to, what I would consider, hustle to get the particular job in my specialty that I wanted. And that job gave me a better perspective about what it was to run a small business, thankfully.
Good.
So I was able to sort of formalize it and make it a career by starting up a business and helping others do the same, at least the online component of that.
Okay. So Web Immerse, it does internet, it does social media. I saw on your website that there are things like ASP and XMI and all those other kinds of things that hopefully you will explain to us as you go along. But your expertise and the firm's expertise then is in electronic communication and branding. Is that right? If you had to come up with a few words, what would those words be?
Yeah, it really does boil down to communications and branding, just like you said. there are different ways to accomplish that, and yeah, we're focused on the web technology bit. That extends to even now mobile. Those things, the alphabet soup of languages and different technologies are nothing but how that comes to be. So those are different programming languages and standards that can be used to accomplish what needs to be done. And it can range from a website to actually implementing different things, programming work, coming up with functionality, but yeah, those cover it.
Okay, so when Kevin first met us, we were just developing a new model for how we were doing business after having been in business for 10 years or so. And we actually developed the in the zone concept, and Kevin helped us to take that brand and make that brand extremely visible. In fact, we had the logo, and then when Kevin did the website, he did such a good job of making the logo 3D. We said, wow, we didn't even know you could do that. So Kevin actually took our company and gave it international, a national, an electronic presence. Now, is that what you do for most companies? Is that your primary revenue generator, or is there another one or two areas of expertise that you do that are more prominent than the website kinds of things?
That's a good question. It might be hard to encapsulate.
Okay.
Of course, they're the core services, and it depends on the actual customer's situation or what opportunities they're trying to take advantage of.
Okay.
You know, of course, some people are locally focused, and that doesn't necessarily comment on the scale of their business necessarily. And there are other people that clearly have the opportunity to scale internationally, and it makes sense for their business model. So there can be a wide range of different solutions and how it's implemented. But yeah, at the core, you do have basically, we're talking about digital strategy, how they're acting and executing online, and then how they can mold things to what they need to do. There might be baskets of different types of solutions, like social media, promotion focused, or the hardcore programming aspects, or translating what they're doing into a new medium for them, which might be an application or a new project that might be a partnership between organizations. So there can be a wide range of things. As you ask about how we're sort of expanding or what we've done over the years, there have been things that we've done for certain types of clients, like the federal government. I mean, we did a satellite telecommunications project for the federal government.
Wow, okay.
I mean, we were good candidates because we were able to find partners that could execute.
Of course.
And we, of course, we were doing more telecom back then. So, you know, it's always interesting to see how to best capitalize on opportunities. And we also have things like our new project that could be considered in-house startups, like the Insightful Art project as well, which is doing application development and then, marketing and really spinning up a new business based off of those, which we've also done over the years for other clients.
Okay, so tell us about the new project. And what's it called again?
Insightful
Art.
Yeah.
Okay, tell us about that project.
Which really leverages, of course, I was an applied arts major back in school. I've been drawing since I was playing with Legos.
Okay,
and,
all right.
Do design work on a daily basis. It brings together those interests, art, design, technology. I used to sort slides in the fine arts library. That's how I made money going to college.
So you're bringing all your background into this new project then?
Yes, it was an interesting opportunity. I won New York Entrepreneur Week for the concept. And I've been working on developing and rolling it out since. But what that allows you to do, and this sort of brings the conversation about what's developing and what's possible now. You may have heard of recommendation engines before.
No, but I heard of it now.
Like when you go to Amazon and you see they recommend products based on what people like you have purchased in the past.
I got you.
We're bringing technology like that to the art creation process.
Wow.
Which is exciting. So somebody will log in with their Facebook. You just use your Facebook credentials, press a button, and we talk to Facebook and let you in based on that instead of a username and password. And what we actually do is we serve you building block images and patterns based on your personality and preferences. And of course, we just, took what we know from your profile, information you already loaded and have on Facebook, or you can just, if you don't want to use your Facebook login, you can just take some image quizzes.
Right,
just
but Facebook is an example of how how I've established a profile, and then you use that profile to kind of tailor things to me.
Power and convenience of that. But you could pick between pairs and say, I like A better than B. But then we give you sort of the Legos for an art piece about you. And the really cool thing is you can do it for other people as well. You can pick your wife, and we help you through the process.
No, I've already picked my wife. Don't get me in trouble here.
Pick one for your wife.
There we go. That's what he meant, sweetheart.
And you can make something for yourself or others. You can pick from, let's say, 5 images and then compose them together. And it's about you as well. Symbolic imagery about you, what you love, what you do, what you're interested in, which is new.
So that kind of lets you and me as the one who's being profiled come together and design an art piece that actually says a lot about who I am.
Yeah.
Is it abstract? Is it?
Yeah.
It is abstract.
It could be easily described as abstract.
Wow.
And there's a mix of, you could use photography, photographic images as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. That sounds, for a novice like me, and I say novice because, as long as you've been with me, the social media stuff I'm always like 5 years behind it. But for a novice like me, that sounds like something that not only would be very challenging and acceptable to the public, but also an extremely good revenue generator for Web Immerse.
Yeah.
Okay.
We will see. But we also can license it to, let's say, anybody that has a forward-facing graphic process. Like I said, this is revolutionary for the ease of creation and the subject matter. Okay. If I was to ask you how to get art that reflected you, either reflected your taste, that's a little bit removed, or you'd get something obvious like a self-portrait.
Okay.
But to be able to create something, with that learning curve or cost of software, but we can bring that process as well. We've done the legwork of developing it and testing it. We can also help companies that need to have a similar process or can benefit from it, Hallmarks of the World, et cetera, to put that on their entities and assets, websites, and otherwise.
We need to talk more about this. I'm excited and don't even know what the heck you're talking about. We're going to take a break in a couple of seconds because we got to come back and talk to Kevin more about some of the things that he's been able to do for our company and do for the other companies, because I need you to get to know his expertise. But while you're there, don't touch that dial, because we're coming right back, and you want to be here. So we're going to take a break. You're going to see something interesting over the next couple of seconds, and then we're going to jump right back and talk to Kevin about some really serious stuff. Don't go anywhere.
Hello, I'm Chase Slade, the coolest 8-year-old kid you will ever meet. My grandpa Don gave me so much money last year, my piggy bank could no longer hold $1 more. He told me to watch Skills to Pay the Bills on Channel 10 and learn about the real secrets of money. Then he told me to watch Egyptian Secrets on Channel 10 to learn how to stay healthy and well. You can be cool and healthy just like me by watching Skills to Pay the Bills and Rock Your Block on every week on Channel 10.
Welcome back. And as you remember, we have a very interesting and very intelligent guest, my buddy Kevin Hailstock. And Kevin was just talking about some of the projects that he's developing. And it occurred to me, Kev, that even in business, and you've been in business for more than a decade, you're still evolving and developing new things, new approaches in a genre, social media, that's developing just as quickly or probably faster. And so my question is, one, how do you stay abreast of all of the new stuff that comes out, it seems like every other minute to me, and how do you take those new things and learn them so that you can apply them to companies like me? How do you stay current? I guess that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, I have to thank my mother and my parents generally for staying on me about education and reading.
You hear that, kids? Parents do have insight.
leaving the clippings by my door, even now. I
Really?
went to my parents' house yesterday and had some newspaper clippings, like, you should read this.
All right, I like that.
But you hit the nail on the head that things change so quickly, and that's a dynamic and interesting thing about being in the business that we are. You can look at it like it's something to keep up with, which it certainly is, but it's also, there is an untold sea of solutions and different technologies that are evolving on a day-to-day basis. And we get to mold that for what people need. But it's certainly a focus point. I just, stay exposed and stay oriented and, learning something every other day.
Wow.
Really.
I mean, it's mind-blowing. Just to give you a little bit of background, Kevin has been on me for the last 5 years, it seems, to get into social media. And Kevin's firm last year did a course for our employees and associates to get us moving to social media. And so the Twitter symbol you see on the bottom, there you go, okay? The website you see on the bottom, right there. And go to our website, seriously, take a look at it, and you can see Kevin's work. If we don't have one of the best sites in the United States, I'll owe you some money. Not too much, though, okay? So, but Kevin makes sure that he keeps his clients thinking about what that learning curve is and thinking about how to make sure that our businesses stay within the current branding and marketing discipline, And so the important thing I think that I'd like to discuss with you is that you seem to tailor every project to where the client is and then help the client determine where they need to go. And in some cases like mine, even if they don't want to go there, Is that the process that Web Immerse uses? It seems to be really personal kind of situation.
Yeah, and I couldn't say it any better.
Of course not, but try.
We were proud to have been in business. September was our 12-year anniversary.
All right.
But it's much easier when you're working with clients such as yourself.
Appreciate that.
But what allows us to stay in business and continue to be an asset and a help to our clients and future clients, current and future, are that we are looking at not only our experience and our opinion of what works and what needs to be scrutinized and possibly applied, but you said it. Where they are is where they are. And if we're ignorant of that as well, or don't pay attention to that, or don't factor that in, they won't make it to another phase of development or advancement. So it definitely is a part of the process, a part of what needs to be considered, and is the starting point whether you want to regard that or not. And then we work towards, based on their priorities and objectives, where they can go.
Well, see, and that's the part that I like about the way young business people think. They have an expertise that businesses need, and instead of just walking in and applying the expertise, you also apply the touchy-feely part, You get to know them, you get to know their company, you get to know where they are, and so I guess you can judge how far you've got to move them, and then you actually take the time to get them to where they need to be. And I think that's important. Now, is that just Kevin Hailstock and how you've developed your staff, or is that something that you learned in school, or a combination, or does it go back to your parents and the clippings?
I think it does go back to how you grew up, but you just made me think. I question whether or not that's also emotional. What do they call that, an emotional quotient? It's certainly characteristic and a sensibility of the people that, of course, we like to employ or partner with, but that I like to be around generally.
I understand it.
So the interesting thing is that it does apply to our business as well, because I think that's an integral part of the design process. And I don't know that I've thought about it necessarily in those terms.
But we who work with you feel it, an example is, I'm busy. Kevin knows I'm busy. So Kevin will find out what he has to do for me to get me to the next stage, because he knows if I am left to my own devices, I'm going to do what makes me money. I may not necessarily do what makes me branding. And so I can always rely on Kevin and his staff to appreciate where I am at that point in time and then help me move along. And so the 5 years he talked to me about social media, he knew that I wasn't getting any closer than 5 years, but he got us there. And so that's the kind of I think, mindset that I would like all young entrepreneurs to understand, that it's not only your expertise, it's learning how to handle the client and the client's needs. And so as you continue to develop Web Immerse, and you said you're in the government sector now, right? And so those are larger companies. Do you find that it's harder to deal with a company that's got a bunch of managers as opposed to dealing with a company that's got maybe one or two?
I think it's definitely easier when you're working with, let's say, a solopreneur or a maybe smaller organization that has a particular contact, and maybe mainly because they are the point of contact and influence for that process. So that might be the greatest influencer, or the thing that makes me say that the most.
Okay.
The thing about the large or small entities, whether it be a government agency or a Fortune 500 company or down the scale of the size of business, it does still revolve, or boil down to singular contacts.
Okay.
At some level.
At some level, right.
Somebody makes a decision or they own a certain piece. So that still comes into play. You still are dealing with people at a certain level. However, depending on different personalities, that's why we would all love to have the say over who we work with. I mean, you're a very good example of, a model partner client.
I paid him for that.
I can't give you enough props and respect for that. But that, I think that comes out in the final product.
Good. So now that you've been in business 12 years and you celebrated your 12th year in September, and again, we need to commend them for doing that, how important in your mind and in your life is being a business owner, number one? And two, I know that you're expanding and becoming a real entrepreneur because you're doing different things now, not just Web Immerse. So first question, how important is being a business owner in Kevin Hailstock's life? And what are some of the things that you see for Web Immerse coming up in the next 12 years?
Yeah, great question. I feel that I'm fortunate to be able to sort of write my own ticket, and one of the reasons I became an entrepreneur was because I wanted, any given day, any given meeting, or whatever I did, I wanted the opportunity to exponentially have that exponentially affect my life.
Okay.
And I don't know if I really had a choice. I was talking with one of my closest friends who's also an entrepreneur, and he was questioning whether or not he could even do anything else. And people refer to it in different ways, whether it's bitten by the entrepreneurial bug or however else you describe it. I do think there's something innate, but that's what I look forward to as well, the dynamic opportunities, growing in knowledge and experience, and then applying that to what we do. And that's, reflected in what I see for the future of Web Immerse.
Okay.
Using new technologies, new solutions, whether we came up with those or we're applying, what is being developed in the field. And who knows what the possibilities are for ourselves or our clients and what they can develop or have us develop.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Another thing I like about Kevin is that Kevin is a person who gives back. He's involved in a lot of civic things. And so Kevin understands that if you are doing well, it's an opportunity to do good. And Kevin mentors a lot of young people, but he's involved in a lot of community things. And again, maybe that came out of just how you were raised, but for a lot of entrepreneurs and business people, they miss that connect between their business and the community. That's obvious to you. And so some of the things that you're doing on the civic side, tell us about them.
Oh yeah, well, I consider it a chance, an opportunity, and a blessing to be able to be placed in a position to have an impact. Luckily, because of my expertise, I'm able to contribute, to organizations, but I would be remiss if I, acted as if I've never, gained anything or saw it or experienced it solely as giving, me sacrificing. I mean, the experience that I've had, the people that I've met, and the opportunities that have opened up as a result of just trying to be, responsible, civically, give back to the community or do what I thought was. And everybody can do a little bit, and we all have skills, experience, knowledge, and otherwise that can do more than help to push, the ball forward for whatever cause. And you can find something that, specifically speaks to, who you are as a person, what is important to you and your value system, and we've all been affected by things that also give us, that passion about a particular thing. And the beauty of it is you can find what actually speaks to you and that you can dedicate your efforts towards. Particularly for me, I found certain causes that, were a no-brainer to support, whether it be the nonprofit village here in Montgomery County, Maryland, or mentoring foster care children, which spoke to me. There's a huge need, and it set up the type of relationship, 2-year commitment, master to the kid that you really can help. Be consistency, and
so you're actually reaching back and helping people and bringing them up behind you. See, that's what I call being a good corporate citizen and having good things happen behind it.
Yeah.
That's an important part of being an entrepreneur, is to do well and then to help. Kevin, we're almost out of time, but I want to thank you personally, my buddy, for everything that you do for me. Please go to Kevin's website. If you want to get branded, this is the man to do the job for you. Trust me, okay? Look at my website. You'll see his work. This has been probably one